Athena stood in front of the mirror for a moment longer than usual. The soft, flowy dress moved lightly around her knees as she shifted her weight. The fabric effortless and comfortable. Simple white sneakers balanced the look, casual and easy. Her hair fell freely over her shoulders, and the faint gloss on her lips caught the morning light spilling through the window. Her sister stood behind her, gently adjusting a loose strand of hair before stepping back to admire the result. "You look beautiful," she said. Athena glanced at her reflection again. Beautiful was not a word she often used for herself, but today she could almost believe it. As always, Athena stopped by Mia's house on her way to school. The moment Mia opened the door, she froze. Her eyes widened before her hands flew to her mouth. "Athena!" she exclaimed, grabbing Athena by the shoulders and pulling her into the sunlight to inspect her properly. She stared from head to toe in disbelief. "Finally! Oh my gosh, look at you. I knew this day would come." Athena laughed nervously and tucked a strand of hair behind her ear. "It's just a dress." Mia scoffed dramatically. "Just a dress? Girl, you were about to cause a scene at school today." Athena felt excitement flutter nervously in her chest. "What if people stare?" she asked quietly. "Oh, they will," Mia said proudly as she linked arms with her. "But relax, I'll be right here." That reassurance made Athena smile. Together they began the familiar walk to school, while Mia animatedly told her everything that had happened the day before. From an awkward church encounter to a ridiculous argument between her cousins. Athena laughed along, slowly relaxing, until the school gates came into view. The reaction started almost immediately. Students walking past slowed down, some even stopping completely. Whispers began to spread. Someone murmured, asking if that was Athena. Another insisted it couldn't be, before realizing that it was. A small group of girls near the lockers gasped quietly. Athena felt the attention like a spotlight. Normally, she would have lowered her head, adjusted an oversized sweater, and tried to disappear. For as long as she could remember, even back in first grade, she had always dressed the same way: loose shirts, baggy trousers, safe clothes that helped her blend in. After that humiliating night at the party, after Ella's cruel comment, she had shrunk even further into those safe choices, trying to make herself smaller, less noticeable, less of a target. But not anymore. Athena lifted her head slightly and straightened her shoulders as she walked forward. She was done hiding and done shrinking herself. From now on, she would simply be the best version of herself, whether people liked it or not. As they passed a group of popular boys leaning casually against the lockers, their reaction surprised her. One of them greeted her casually. "Hey, Athena." She blinked in surprise, as another nodded approvingly and told her she looked nice today. A third boy grinned and added that she looked really nice. Mia squeezed her arm proudly, and Athena smiled shyly back, her confidence growing with every step as they continued down the hallway. Finally, they reached their first class and realized they were the last to arrive. Mia pushed the door open, and the chatter in the room softened instantly as every head turned towards them. Ella sat with her two inseparable friends near the middle of the room. The moment she saw Athena, her eyes widened and her expression froze for a split second. One of her friends leaned forward to whisper something in disbelief, while the other simply stared, clearly shocked. Ella quickly tried to compose herself, but the jealousy that flashed across her face was visible before she could hide it, her lips pressing into a tight smile. Across the room, Christian had been leaning back casually in his chair, but when Athena walked in, he straightened immediately. His eyes followed her as she moved towards her seat before he broke into a wide, almost impressed smile. Athena met his gaze briefly, and he responded with a playful grin. Ella noticed at once. Her eyes snapped towards Christian, and the irritation on her face was impossible to miss. Near the window sat the new student, Luke. He had been quietly watching the entire scene unfold. His gaze rested on Athena as she walked into the room, his expression thoughtful, carrying a mixture of curiosity, amusement, and quiet admiration, as if he had just witnessed something unexpectedly interesting, and Athena had absolutely no idea. Athena and Amir slipped into their seats in the middle row of the classroom. Even after everyone settled, Athena could still feel the attention lingering. From the back of the room came faint whispers and quiet giggles, while a few students seated in front kept turning around to sneak another look at her. Someone whispered, asking if that was really Athena, while another murmured that she looked completely different. Athena tried to ignore it and focused on the front of the room as the teacher began the lesson, though Mia leaned slightly towards her with a proud grin and whispered that she had told her this would happen. Athena fought back a smile. Across the room, Luke sat quietly, occasionally glancing in her direction with the same curious expression he had worn earlier. Christian was far less subtle. He looked at Athena once or twice before quickly looking away. Ella noticed every one of those glances. Soon the bell rang for lunch, and students flooded into the hallway. Athena and Mia joined the crowd heading towards the school cafeteria. The moment they walked in, the reaction started again. Conversations paused mid-sentence as students stared. A group of girls whispered to each other in disbelief. Two boys near the drinks encounter nudged each other and wondered when she had started dressing like that. Athena felt warmth rush to her cheeks and muttered to Amir that the situation was slightly terrifying. Mia laughed and guided them towards an empty table, joking that Athena was trending today. They sat down, but Athena could still feel eyes drifting towards her throughout the break. A few students who had never spoken to her before offered shy smiles when she glanced their way. Across the cafeteria, Ella sat with her two friends, pretending not to look, but clearly watching Athena from time to time. Luke entered the cafeteria a few minutes later with a small group of students. When he noticed Athena across the room, his expression carried the same mixture of amusement and interest as before, though he didn't stay for long. The afternoon classes passed quicker than Athena expected. The whispers slowly faded, though the occasional glance still came her way. By the time the final bell rang, her nerves had settled into a strange mix of excitement and disbelief. Athena and Mia walked home together as they usually did. When they reached Mia's gate, Mia stopped and folded her arms dramatically. declaring that the day had been historic. Athena laughed, but Mia leaned closer with a teasing smile and told her not to try to burn the school down the next day because she knew Athena was just getting started. Athena rolled her eyes and laughed again as Mia waved goodbye and disappeared inside. The short walk to Athena's house felt quicker than usual. Her mind replayed the events of the day, the whispers, the stares, and the shocked expressions she had seen all around the school. Almost everyone had looked at her as if they could not believe what they were seeing. Truthfully, she could barely believe it herself. Who would have imagined that she would change her wardrobe during her final year of school? For years, she had hidden behind loose, comfortable clothes to avoid attention. Even though the attention today had felt overwhelming at times, there was something exciting about it too. As she walked, she smiled to herself while thinking about tomorrow. She could take things a notch higher or tone it down. Either way, she knew she would do whatever felt right for her.